Hello, welcome to Crisis of Infinite Opinions. Each month we share our thoughts on various comic books, but secretly one of us is a bizarro with the wrong take, and it's up to you, the audience, to figure out who it is.
Hi, I'm DinoMightyMiranda, your friendly neighborhood amateur Batman historian.
Hi, I'm Night the Werewolf Teacher. Fake werewolf, real teacher.
Hi, I'm Rena. I make way too long videos on way too short a platform.
Okay. Hello, alright, today we are discussing superhero events and how great it is when we have characters show up that otherwise don't normally get the chance to be in the spotlight a lot of the times. Which is why I want to really bring up just how rare it is to have Batman just show up in an event comic. He's never really is around that often. He's always huddled away in Gotham as this urban legend who never really gets to do anything out in the rest of the hemisphere. So it's really refreshing when an event will remember that Gotham exists and he will actually be around. So I would just go around the board and have everyone discuss, what is your favorite event that, really incentivizes why Batman was there in the first place? Miranda, why don't you go first?
So, as we all know, in 2011, we had the Flashpoint. If you are not aware, the Flashpoint is primarily a Flash event, which I'm glad that he got his own famous event. But basically, Barry Allen and Ebad Thawne fuck over the DC universe, and we get this alternate version of everybody, and it's just the worst timeline possible. And it's only brightened by the presence of Batman. We get not one, but two Batmen in that event. There is, of course, Thomas Wayne, who is the Flashpoint Batman, because in that universe Bruce Wayne dies, and we really get to dig into his psyche in a way that we just don't get to dig into anyone else's psyche in the Flashpoint. And then, of course, he comes in clutch at the end. And then the end of the story, because we had Thomas Wayne, the emotional climax of Flashpoint is, of course, given to his son, Bruce Wayne, which I just think is so appropriate. You know, it's can you really have a Flash event if his buddy Batman isn't there? Rena, what do you think? What's your favorite Batman event?
I mean, I think I have to go with with the famous Green Lantern event, Black as Night, because who would have thought that, despite the fact that Batman is currently dead, that he would appear in an event. Not only is he currently dead, but he's also technically not dead. So, you would think, oh, Batman's dead, therefore he has to appear in the zombie event. But also, they were so worried about you thinking Batman is dead at the end of Final Crisis, they revealed that he was never dead in the first place. So, you as the reader know that Batman isn't dead, but they still put him in the zombie event. So, you have the best of both worlds. You both have a way to include Batman and a way to, subtly throw off the tracks of what's currently going on, and it's wonderful. And I feel like, yes, are there so many dead characters you could bring back that would be interesting? Sure, but why not bring back the couple months old corpse of Bruce Wayne, you know? Why not?
And I appreciate that they held to his no-killing rule by not actually being him, so we didn't get to see his corpse emotionally manipulate any of his loved ones.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
I have a friend who has a tattoo of Black Lantern Batman from that event. So for me, I think I'm gonna go with Dark Knight's Metal, where all the villains are Batman. I mean, you have the ultimate antithesis of Batman, the Batman who laughs, because everyone knows that the real thing that Batman hates doing is making jokes. And then he comes in with an army of other Batmen from other realities, where he has merged with various versions of the Justice League. You have the Drowned, who is a Batman but an Aquaman villain. You have you have the Red Death, where he has absorbed the Speed Force from Barry Allen. You have a version of him where he has Ares' powers and is a Wonder Woman villain. You have version of him where he absorbed Doomsday into him. And then there's one where he became a Green Lantern because we all loved in Darkest Night that quintessential Elseworld.
Well, these are all
I think it's really great that they went through and they were like, what if the Justice League was better? What if it was all Batman?
I think these are all great examples, but none of them surpass the greatest one in my opinion, which is Our Worlds at War, which is about a decades-long subplot of the Superman comics coming to the end, where a alien invasion is being drawn towards Earth by an unstoppable, impossible godlike entity who even puts Darkseid into worry that he has to team up with Earth in order to stop this. But we need to make sure that we're not just constantly blown with the biggest possible war imaginable, but instead have smaller, grounded elements of the story as well, of Batman tracking down illegal, literal aliens that have escaped to Earth to avoid this oncoming war, where not much actually happens, but it's the grounding just of having Batman there, wandering through the streets of Gotham, tracking down his own storylines that are just happening in Batman's own comics, but just because the Our Worlds at War event is happening, he has to also be looking for random aliens that have landed as they're interfering with his own storyline, because Batman never gets a chance to have his storylines involved in the big, grander events happening on the stage. And yes, other characters also got to have their own crossover details, but while Wonder Woman's led to her climactically almost dying in the big grand finale of the battlefield, leading to Hippolyta having to pick up the sword and avenge her own daughter in this war, and Kara deals with basically 9/11 in Kansas as Smallville is raining death upon itself by a literal nuke being dropped on the city, Batman just deals with random aliens that may be bad, but we don't really know because we don't really spend that much time with the individual aliens. So we have the nuance of who's really the villain during the middle of this grand epic war.
Well, I can tell you right now, it's not Batman.
No, Batman could never do anything wrong.
These are all really great uses of Batman. But I know that the audience at home is asking the question, but he's just a human. How do writers really get him involved with these really world-class events, right? You've got the zombie apocalypse, you have an alien war, you have the cosmic Batman. How do we scale him up so that it feels appropriate for him to be there?
Well, the thing that's great about Our Worlds at War is they don't do anything to scale Batman up to this conflict. He never even gets to the big grand war that is actually happening on there. But he just stays in Gotham looking for aliens that might be in Gotham during this battle, while everyone else goes up to the watchtowers of satellite to prepare and battle for the war. Even the children of Young Justice get dragged into the actual conflict of the war. But no, not Batman. Batman remembers that he, at his heart, is a detective who lurks within the shadows and scares criminals. And so Batman can do most to help out in this conflict by looking for random aliens and dealing with a mobster who may or may not be secretly working with Penguin, but we'll have to find that out after the event has happened.
You know,
Out of curiosity, is the mobster an alien or is he just a mobster?
He's just a mobster. He's not even part of the event.
not even a mob alien, no.
No, he's part of an unrelated storyline that was already happening at that point.
You know, actually, I was thinking about another great, not quite an event comic, but it's an Elseworld now officially. Rena's Undeath storyline got me thinking about DC versus vampires, which is proof that, once again, all of these problems would be solved with Batman. Because for the first 6 issues, it is Batman trying to prevent the vampire apocalypse. And then it turns out that Dick Grayson, Nightwing, is the vampire king, and he murders Batman, and the whole world goes to hell.
Well, of course the world will go to hell. Batman is dead. He's the most important figure in all of comics.
And Dick knew that he had to take Batman out in order for him to actually take over.
Mm-hmm.
I really think that echoes the Grant Morrison Batman run, where Batman literally had to be banished to another time period so that Dick Grayson could step into the spotlight. I think he's always been nursing a secret jealousy since then, and DC versus Vampires was the time for him to expel those emotions, as he literally rips his father's heart out of his chest.
Mm-hmm. Absolutely. And of course, that is such a much more interesting storyline to explore in the Vampires event, as opposed to Vampire Hal Jordan being incredibly gay, or Green Arrow, who uses a wooden arrow, the obvious kryptonite to most vampires. Clearly, that should be, but no, that would be too obvious, too easy for the writers to go. They had to go new and go in a radical different direction, and so they had to go with Vampire Batman being killed by his own son.
I think that, like, I would rather have, to answer the question again of rising to the occasion, I'd rather have the event rise to Batman's occasion than the other way around, you know? Which is why I think about how, like, the second outing of Black Lantern Batman in Dark Knight Death Metal, in which he uses a Black Lantern ring and becomes, like, the one truest Black Lantern of all time, and has like perfect control over it and uses it to revive a whole bunch of corpses. And I think that, like, I think that's a good way of showing, like, in this big event where you have to deal with, like, all these other people who, like, are extremely powerful, just, like, don't, whatever you do, just, like, make sure Batman's still relevant by giving him a freaking Black Lantern ring. Which isn't even his thing, you know? Like, yeah. It's not his.
Oh no, the obvious easy solution, like the obvious solution to have the vampire storyline be about the guy who uses wooden weapons, the obvious solution with Batman would have been to make him the Yellow Lantern of fear, because he uses fear as a weapon to fight other criminals. But no, that would be too obvious. That would be too easy.
Or have anyone who, like, uses a ring use the ring, you know? Mm-hmm. Like, maybe have Batman use something from his own mythos to, like, be relevant, you know?
Right, but these writers are kind of above the rest.
It would have been
envelopes.
It would have been a great opportunity to use Barbatos, I will say that.
Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, absolutely.
I will say, honey, to be fair, in the absence of Batman, without Batman there to save the world, Green Arrow is one of the bigger heroes on the side of murdering vampires, alongside Green Lantern Alfred.
His body is not built for Lycra.
Oh, but, like, imagine, like, if we go back to if you're having a big galactic war, a war so big that even Darkseid has to come and make an alliance with Superman. You think that, no, like, we should have, like, explore Darkseid's actions in the situation. No, that'd be too obvious. That'd be too easy of a choice to really explore what Darkseid is doing all this. We have to keep that into the shadows and put Batman into the spotlight, to have him be the one who's really exploring what the secrets are in all of this.
Well, I think what we've been dancing around, but we really should address the elephant in the room here, is that Darkseid is just such a niche character. I don't think anyone's going to read a comic if it's just about Darkseid. Mm-hmm. I think that's why Batman injects some much-needed life and money into all of these events, because everybody loves Batman.
Oh, absolutely. Like, you could read Supergirl and watch, like, actual 9/11 happen as, like, a nuke drops on Smallville, and she has to dig through the bodies and find a young girl almost being raped by random thugs running the streets of Smallville. But no, that's too dark, that's too grim. We need to lighten things up with some cheer and joy and go over to Gotham for Batman's storyline.
But honey, as the cancellation of the, how many seasons was the CW Supergirl show?
9, I think?
9. As the cancellation of the 9th season Supergirl show tells us, nobody cares about her. She's just too niche. She only has a single movie. Mm-hmm. What is that next to Batman?
Also, no one cares about Smallville. That's why they keep nuking it. Because when you said he nuked Smallville, I thought, again? They did that in Kingdom Come.
Yeah, that's why Smallville
I
only
think
got
it's really
10
admirable
seasons.
that you want to keep these place settings alive. But sometimes, honey, you just have to give up the ghost.
Mhm.
Nobody cares about these Silver Age topics.
That's why at this time when this event happened, Smallville, the TV show itself, was on for like its 8th season. It was just
And
getting
again,
too. Everyone was
it
too
got
tired
canceled.
of it.
It was terrible.
Mm-hmm.
Compared to what? How many seasons did Batman have with Gotham?
5 seasons, but it wasn't canceled. It reached a natural conclusion. He put on the cowl. There was no more story to tell, as we all know.
Yeah, everyone knows Zombie Joker without Batman to fight is the ultimate conclusion to Gotham's storyline.
I do.
I'm obsessed with Bruce Wayne and not with Batman at all. Yeah, absolutely.
I think it shows something that you can sustain 5 seasons of a TV show without Batman there, just by like the promise that Batman will be there one day.
Or like in the Titans TV show, where it's this new grim, serious show about the kids of the Titans all grown up now as adults. But we have to center the storyline primarily around Dick Grayson and Jason Todd's relationship with Bruce Wayne. That's the key central emotional core of the Titans.
You know, I want to circle back to the whole dark side being a little too niche, because actually I was reminded of one of my favorite animated movies in the DC things. I love villain Batman. I think he's so cool. And in Justice League Dark Apocalypse War, there's just this epic moment where they arrive on Apocalypse, and Batman is in the Mobius chair running Apocalypse for Darkseid. And you know, he is really the big threat of that. If he weren't such a mental threat, then like we wouldn't be so much more focused on him than on Darkseid being fought by Trigon possessed Superman. You know, we like that wouldn't be in the background while we're focused on Batman. All right, so let's take a break and let's try a new mini game that we wanted to add to this format. All right, so I'm going to pitch a scenario. All right, you are a supervillain. All right,
like Batman.
Like Batman, yes. Like my favorite versions of Batman.
As we all know, Batman, friend to all children.
Yeah, and you have beef with a child superhero, like Batman often does.
Just don't listen.
And yeah, they really don't. Who are you going to have beef with? Your options are Ultil Ra, one of the super twins. You know, actually, both
the weaker one.
I'm going to give Ultil and Ultil
Boy
Ra.
child.
Huh?
Oh, it was like the weaker one, the boy child.
Oh, sorry. I actually meant to give them the girl child. I wanted you to have one of the options be the bloodthirsty one. All right.
Well, like Batman would do, he would never choose to have a girl involved in his operations. You can't have the girl sidekick around.
Right.
No. The girl sidekick belongs to Barbara Gordon. Everybody knows this. It's just how gender works in Gotham. If it's a boy, it goes to Batman. If it's a girl, it goes to Oracle.
Absolutely.
Right. Speaking of girls, the next option, just the Powerpuff Girls. All right, I want somebody everyone will know. The Powerpuff Girls. You are now a Powerpuff Girls villain. Your beef is with 3 5-year-old girls in kindergarten. All right. Maps
a room
Mizuguchi.
full of LGBT plus individuals. I think we're already Powerpuff villains.
Yeah, that's fair. Or Maps Mizuguchi, the best Robin of all Robins.
Mhm.
All right, the Robin who made herself Robin. Maps Mizuguchi. Who are you going to have be your nemesis?
Well, I will have to go with the Powerpuff Girls because as actual kindergartners, while they have the great power, as we've seen with him and the Gang Green Gang and many of the other times, the Powerpuff Girls are really easy to just manipulate and trick them into thinking that what you're doing, you can just tell them, oh no, I'm playing pretend. These are pretend bags of money that I'm stealing from the bank. Well, do you want to pretend with me? We can play. I'll pretend to be the cop, and you pretend to be the bank robbers, but bank robbers have to go to prison. So, at the end of our little game, you have to go to prison, and then I'll go and take the money and go away.
I think that I'm debating here. I would say Powerpuff Girls because canonically they have a bedtime, so you just do crimes after the bedtime. But if that doesn't count as beefing,
As Batman would do.
yes. If that doesn't count as beefing with them because I never see them, it's definitely Maps because every other person on that list is bloodthirsty as hell. I don't want to be her. Like, Powerpuff Girls are brutal. They really are they are so destructive.
Oh no, I have the other ultimate counter to the Powerpuff Girls, which is I will spontaneously start laughing if I get hurt too bad. So the girls will just have no recourse or reaction to punching me so hard I lose a tooth and then I start laughing. They'll just get so uncomfortable and so weird that they just will back away and then I'll be able to get away with the crime.
I don't know how that's going to work when they routinely punch Mojo so hard his brains are exposed.
Yeah, but Mojo Jojo doesn't laugh, he cries. They know to hurt somebody until they cry. They don't know what to do if you hurt them until they laugh.
I will take the option that nobody has chosen. I will take on the Super Twins because they are 10 years old. They are children. And what do we know about 10-year-olds? They're kind of dumb, but they think they're smart. So I am going to work off of a system of misdirection. If they think I'm over here and I'm actually over here, they're just going to be so confounded and confused that I think I'll be able to get away with it. I'm not a naturally violent person. I wouldn't be a naturally destructive or violent supervillain. I think I would be kind of a fun one, you know? Like, I think you throw enough distractions at a kid and eventually one of them's going to stick. And I am confident in my ability to distract these children who did not have a normal childhood. I think an episode of Bluey might fit the bit for children that were born on a slave, on a slave dimension.
I mean, I think they might be a little bit old for Bluey, but yeah.
But are they too old for Bluey? Because I don't think they have any natural defenses to Bluey. They've never had a Bluey type experience to get accustomed to.
They've never had any typical childhood experiences. They were born on a slave world.
They're
going to be asking why none of the healers have long chains to expand their glory. Why they don't constantly fight each other at daycare.
And at that point, I'm just like, okay, kiddos, I need you to do some market research. When you can answer that question, then you can take me to prison. You know, and if all else fails, I am confident in my ability to buy ice cream. And I think if I buy them enough ice cream, they might forget that I'm doing something wrong.
Yeah. I feel like
from their perspective, I'm their best friend. And in reality, I'm doing a lot of mess in Metropolis.
But now, really beefing with them?
I'm sorry, I heard I'm doing a lot of meth in Metropolis.
What a mess! I said mess.
You're now the meth queen of Metropolis.
What,
Rena? Are we really bribing them if we're just beefing with them?
What?
I said, are we really beefing with them if we're just bribing them, you know?
Well, once they find out they've been bribed, they're just going to try to beef with us.
But Superman is going to find out they took a bribe, be so disappointed, and then the Super Twins will be like, "You made our dad disappointed with us because you did your bribery."
I am confident in my ability to talk circles around that man. I think I could do it.
The Powerpuff Girls are literal children, like, not even, like, 10 years old. These are, like, 6-year-old kids. So, these are super easy to trick into committing minor misdemeanors and petty criminal offenses. And the sheer shock and twisting of, like, but we're heroes. We don't do crime. Yes, but you see, you entered this property without a warrant. That's a crime, Powerpuff Girls. And just having their brains explode under the sheer complexity of actual legal law, taking the Supergirls to court, taking the Powerpuff Girls to court.
I'm sorry, you didn't follow proper chain of custody protocol.
Yeah.
I mean, I think that works up until a point. I do think Buttercup will eventually get frustrated and just start punching and asking questions later.
I mean, sure, but then she'll have to get a scolding from Professor Utonium for trying to punch the bailiff while they're in court.
I think that you have a fragile body, and...
Oh, I'm very aware of how fragile I am.
You would be in the hospital first before this lecture happens.
Oh, I'll absolutely be in the hospital. I'll be on critical condition by the end of it. But I'll still have won, because the Powerpuff Girls will still be very broken by their relationship with the legal complexities of a courtroom.
Meanwhile, Rena's the only one who's actually going to put her person in the hospital. Out of all of you.
I feel like I'm still going to get my ass kicked, but it'll just be a lot less painful, you know?
Yeah, well,
actually, I don't think Maps has ever jumped from building to building. I'll just push her off the building.
She doesn't have any combat training. She's
by Batman.
She's a prep student who goes to a private high school. Her biggest accomplishment is scaffolding down a building. That's all she can do.
She does have a grappling hook.
Yeah.
That's a detriment.
Actually, you know what? That's the one thing that's going to save you from getting your ass kicked by Batman. She had a grappling hook.
With the power of parkour.
What event needed more Batman?
Yes.
All right.
Okay, I'm going to go first.
Okay. Go for it.
I think Dark Knight Death Metal could use way more Batman because, like, despite the fact that it's supposed to be about, like, the dark multiverse and all the Batman coming there, the actual Batman doesn't do much. It's a Wonder Woman event for some reason. Clearly, it should be an event about Batman fighting all the Bat people. Who cares that we already had an event about Batman fighting Bat people the previous year with Dark Knight's Metal? Just make Death Metal also a Batman primary event. Give him more lantern rings. Give him the lasso of truth.
I would argue, actually, Nightfall needs more Batman, specifically because NightQuest, the sub-event within Nightfall that is specifically about a crippled Bruce Wayne trying to track down his doctor and Tim Drake's dad when they were randomly abducted following the events of Bane breaking his back, doesn't actually have anything to do with Bruce himself, because most of it is actually about, like, Justice League Task Force, and also the Doctor Lady's evil brother, and her secretly being, like, a mutant psychic healer with super healing powers, and that's how Bruce gets his back healed in the original comic storyline. But, like, none of that actually has anything to do with Batman. Where's Batman's central character drive? This should be more about Batman himself healing, like in the Great Dark Knight Rises, where Bruce has to physically climb out of the well to prove that he has overcome getting his back broken by Bane. That movie has a so much better resolution to Bruce getting injured than Batman ever did in Nightfall itself.
Controversial opinion. I think Battle of the Cowl, despite having conservatively 6 to 8 Batmen in it, does not have enough Batman. I think the resolution, instead of having Bruce Wayne lost in time, the resolution should have been Bruce popping up. Surprise! It was all a test. I wanted to see what you'd do if I was dead. You all failed. I think that is the proper ending to Battle of the Cowl. I don't think there is a satisfying conclusion where any of his children wear a bat suit. So clearly, he needs to come back and assert dominance over them.
Mhm.
Okay, see, I would love that if he also went to Bane and Catman about that too, because they arguably passed.
He shows up. Bane, you've proven that you are my nemesis. You performed admirably in the wake of my demise.
No, you're forgetting that at this time in the comics, Bane thought he was Bruce's brother.
Oh right, God. Okay, so for me,
I love that. Bane shows up and gives the eulogy, obviously.
my answer to what event needed more Batman is Batman Santa Claus Silent Night. Despite having Batman in the title, look who's front and center on that on the trade paperback.
That's a little kid.
Super.
I mean, I was going to say that's Superman, but you know,
The little kid is obviously the
No,
protagonist.
I agree with Honey. We need Superman sitting on Santa's throne and Batman on his lap listening to the story.
Exactly.
That is the superior.
oh, but
Exactly.
actually, what I mean is it's actually very much more like a Justice League event. Like every leaguer and their mother is in this book. And while there are certainly great moments like Superman showing up, you never told me that you knew Santa? Heartbroken, absolutely.
Dumb betrayed face.
Right. But that was certainly good. Like it's like Batman is really hardly in it. There's really not much of a rapport between the two. Except for the fact that we learned that Batman was at one point trained by Santa.
Of course,
You know what
obviously.
I need a special issue of Chip Zdarsky's The Night, where like just a special Chip Zdarsky The Night one shot, where we see Batman training under Santa.
Well, that's how Batman has learned the great and important art of slipping into buildings without anybody seeing how it happened and eating everyone's milk and cookies.
The question is this before or after Anton breaks with him? Is Ghostmaker also there?
I'm not sure. I don't think I think Ghostmaker would be on the naughty list. I think not going to be allowed
This is
to
during
train.
Bruce, Batman and Ghostmaker are both Santa Claus's sidekicks, with their signature names being Naughty and Nice.
Oh, oh, yes, I like this plan. Yes,
Because everyone knows
that's
Batman
pretty good.
is just so naughty.
Mm-hmm. Yes. So yeah, pre-breakup. Yeah.
Catwoman is very aware of how naughty Bruce Wayne is.
Yeah. So is the woman who in the night who taught him how to break into buildings beforehand.
Mm-hmm.
We learned that in that event that he has a thing for cats because that woman is a cougar.
And on that note, discuss our favorite Batman events. We've discussed how we can inject more Batman. We've really talked about the importance of Batman to the overall success of DC. What character do you think should have an event in Gotham? Not a Gotham native. What other character, what minor character could really use the support of the Batman stimulus package by having an event in Gotham?
Mm-hmm. I think Superman should have an entire dedicated event where he's exclusively in Gotham fighting Batman's rogues. He even have him dress up as Batman. Have the entire storyline be about presented as a Batman event. But then 2 issues in, we learn that it's actually been Superman himself wearing the cape and cowl, and that Batman has actually vanished from Gotham, and the entire storyline is about Clark Kent trying to investigate where Bruce Wayne has gone as he's pretending to be Batman for the entire event.
I think that the one super family that rivals Batman in size is the Flash family. So we should just incorporate all of them full-time as members of the Bat family to double up the size of the Bat family, so that Gotham never needs to worry once about being unprotected. Wally West, Barry Allen, Bart, Wallace, all of them become Bat people.
Mm-hmm.
Of course. I do have to ask: is this family united through marriage, or does he just adopt Barry Allen and thus get all of his?
Obviously, Bruce Wayne needs to adopt Barry Allen. Bruce Wayne absolutely needs to adopt Barry Allen. They're the same age. Doesn't matter. You're my son now. You lost both your parents, Barry? Does that mean you're an orphan?
No, I'm telling you, they get married.
Political marriage.
I now pronounce you Bat.
Okay. Let's give everyone, Rena, please. That's brilliant. Yeah. Say it.
What I'm just saying that I think that political marriage is the way out. I think that they don't really want to be married, but they got to. And I'm thinking between the two, one that will make no one happy: Cassandra and Wallace.
Oh.
Wait.
Oh, no one will like that. I love it. Back to the drama.
Oh God, no! I'm also thinking about Wally and Dick realizing, wait a second, we could have been married, and now because we're technically legally related, we can't.
Okay, so hilariously, I do want to just bring up that I do have a crack ship that would allow for the Flash family and the Bat family to get together, and that is Jesse Quick and Nightwing.
No.
Why did you do that to her? What did Jesse Quick do to you?
They actually had a really cute chemistry moment during the Titans 99 Titans book.
I wouldn't wish Nightwing on anyone.
I mean, sorry, I spaced out there because I'm like,
did I break you with that?
There are plenty of people I wish him on temporarily. All right. The man is Community Dick Grayson. All right.
Community Dick.
All right. No.
What's your choice, Knight?
My choice of what small timer really needs a story set in Gotham. I think we need a new Robin. I think we need another small child with black hair and blue eyes who just happens to grow into a large man with black hair and blue eyes. Shazam! So let's just bring in Captain Marvel and have him have an adventure in there. Get adopted. There all sorts of weird things with Batman treating this person who is very clearly his age like a child.
Come along, Robin. It's time for ice cream. Sure thing, Batman.
It's the perfect secret identity too.
Yeah. Like
it is. Nobody's gonna expect.
I do love, at least all of the adopted Robins have paperwork that we know where they came from. You have to. It's easy to forget that the Robins are celebrities.
Mm-hmm.
Shazam doesn't exist on paper, right? So if Batman adopts specifically Shazam,
he adopts Shazam, not Billy Batson.
Yeah.
Oh, cursed idea. Billy Batson is the Robin, but Shazam is the public adoption.
Yes. Miranda, what is your choice?
My choice is a little-known detective character, Martian Manhunter. I think that it has been too long since we've seen a proper John's detective story. So he needs to freshen up his skills. How's he going to do that? He's going to apprentice under the world's greatest detective. And so what we see is every single issue, he shapeshifts to impersonate another member of the Bat family so that he can soak up even more of Batman's teachings.
All right. And so, to the audience watching at home, I don't need to do my "Will the real Bizarro please stand up?" because I think it's very abundantly obvious which one of us has been the Bizarro. It's been all of us.
Honey, were you the Bizarro the whole time? What?
We
Yes,
and Bizarro.
We are.
We am Bizarro. But yes, I love Our Worlds at War, but God does the random inclusion of we have to have all of the, we have to have all these different books be tie-ins to this major event. So we have to include Batman and Detective Comics as tie-in issues for this event, right? Well, Batman already has his own storyline going on, and how the fuck is Batman going to actually get involved in a big galactic war? It doesn't matter, we just have to put Our Worlds at War slapped on top of Detective Comics, and it's part of the event, and you have to buy Detective Comics to know what the hell is happening in the story. No, you don't. It's completely unrelated, has nothing to do with the storyline.
My confession above all else is I actually really do like Black Lantern Batman. They use it in a really cool way. It's very fun. And I enjoy it a whole lot. Death Metal is a surprisingly solid event for what it is. I don't care for I still think Zombie Batman is a stupid idea because it's not actually Batman, so what's the point? Like, the entirety of Batman's death arc post Final Crisis is just DC trying to have their cake and eat it too, and it's very stupid.
Real fast, can I just ask, what emotional manipulation would you have wanted to watch actual dead Black Lantern Batman do?
I would love, because, okay, so Dick Grayson becoming Batman is actually almost a 20-year-long storyline of Dick Grayson's character from Nightfall to the present day, and so much of it is driven by Dick Grayson's own parental anxiety issues of self-worth, comparing himself to Bruce Wayne. He initially is so resentful that he wasn't picked to be the one to replace Batman, that Azrael was instead, that he's runs off to Bloodhaven to prove his own worth as a hero. But then he becomes so resentful of it, he becomes desiring to be anything but Batman. But because he's so angry and resentful at the same time, he secretly becomes more and more like his own father at this period of time, until the point we get Batman's death and he has to take up the mantle. So just imagine zombie Black Lantern Bruce Wayne arriving as Dick Grayson is trying to live up to his father's legacy and prove that he is worthy of the mantle, and just having his father just stare him dead in the eyes and say, "You are not worthy. You do not deserve this mantle. You will never be worthy." Just imagine how much that would break Dick.
I think personally you could keep it the same, just have it be actual Batman and have the balls to kill Batman.
Oh, absolutely. Yeah, this is a big hot take in my opinion, but Bruce Wayne should have actually stayed dead after Final Crisis and never come back. I think Final Crisis was the perfect end note for Bruce Wayne's legacy.
I'm sorry, we don't do that anymore. After Barry Allen came back.
Okay.
Yeah.
But it's just Batman was created with a bullet in an alleyway, and Batman is killed with a bullet. Batman is created by somebody shooting a gun, and then Batman uses a gun, and he's dead. That's the end of it. That's the bookend storyline of Batman.
So for me, though, I gotta say, they could have just had it be Zombie Batman, and then use the event to bring him back, just like it brought back 10 other people.
No, we have to have Batman time traveling. That's so much more important.
I think it would have been such a stronger ending to like the Red Robin run if Tim hadn't actually been right.
Oh,
like,
no,
I think you could have had that run go exactly how it goes, except he never finds the evidence, and then he gets enmeshed in like the League of Assassins, and then he realizes that he shouldn't be chasing after ghosts. He should instead focus on the present and, preserving the family that he has left, and then returning triumphant to Gotham. I think
get
that
so
would've been a much
annoyed
stronger
when Tim
story.
Stans used that moment of him realizing that Batman's not dead as some like evidence of Tim being the smartest person, because in the context of that scene, Tim has no evidence. Tim has no reason to believe that Bruce Wayne isn't dead. He is just having the biggest anxiety attack, mental breakdown, and is just grasping at straws, choosing to believe a delusion, and just happened to have stumbled on the right answer.
Yeah, I'm also just imagining this in the context of other recent times where Batman has died, particularly when he dies in the Chip Zdarsky run, and
Oh yeah.
and Robin just goes jumping through other timelines, through other universes, looking for him because he's definitely out there, and it's like, are you good, man? And it's like, he actually was,
Everyone
but like
deserves. Listen, Tim deserves a great big apology from everyone else, because like they are all reaping the benefits of him bringing their dad back to life, and no one will ever acknowledge that.
Yeah.
To be fair, it was actually Rip Hunter who brought him back to life.
Dark Crisis, like, just so many ridiculous times where he's just been right by sheer guessing, and just you know what? Honestly, he should just meet DC continuity, the Keith Griffin character, who just explains to him, yeah, your dad's never gonna die. Don't worry about it, okay? Anytime, like,
Tim Drake, secret meta. What is his power? The secret. It's literally, he just puts it out into the universe and then it comes true.
Let's wrap this up. I do want to get my opinions. I actually do like DC versus vampires. I think, and I do like, and I like it because they killed off Batman, because they didn't let Batman be the big hero who stopped all the vampires, and because Nightwing got to be a sexy vampire king for the second half of it.
I am still mad that
DC... okay?
I am still mad that DC Vampires didn't really go all in on how gay Hal Jordan was in that storyline. Like, he should have been way gayer.
He should have been crying
DC
when he had to kill
Vampires is one of those Elseworlds that really would have benefited from like the Beast World tour method of having tie-ins.
But the other thing is, so when it comes to Dark Knight's Metal, we discussed this actually on our last video, I think, where we talked about how it would have actually been kind of cool if the evil bat people from other universes who are Batman but with other superheroes' powers had stuck around just to be now a part of the rogues galleries of those other heroes.
Oh, I would love it if the Drowned was like an actual like major Aquaman villain. They're so good.
Like, yeah, like that would actually be pretty damn cool. Like, they made Red Death a Batwoman variant on the CW Flash as a season villain. Like, I didn't watch that season, but they did it. Like,
Miranda, what are your real thoughts on these Batman event that you want to talk about?
I talked about Flashpoint, and one of my major problems with Flashpoint is that we open up with this idea that Barry Allen is avoiding his family. He's avoiding emotional like vulnerability. He then has an entire event about him realizing that you can't live in the past, that you have to live in the present, right? And you should focus on people who are here with you. He gets back to what he thinks is his normal reality, and instead of, I don't know, talking to his wife, talking to his nephew child, talking to this grandson that is so desperate for any form of connection. No, he talks to Batman. And I will die mad about that, because that was not Batman's moment. I think like you already did not need to have nearly as much Thomas Wayne as you already didn't need to have as much Thomas Wayne as is in that story. I think he is way too overused. But if you were going to have him, you didn't need to have like the emotional resolution being him using the Flash as a courier service to deliver some final words to his son that he never knew. You like that moment should have been Barry's. Should have been his. He could have spent it with like 5 different people, and instead he spends it with Batman.
So if you guys want to watch see us on our various social media platforms and our own individual content, go check out the description down below if any of these details have changed, but you can find me over on Blue Sky at Exalted Comics. Miranda, where can they find you?
Well, if you'd like to reach out to me directly, I am DinoMightyMiranda on TikTok. I'm also DinoMightyMiranda on Blue Sky and DinoMightyMiranda right here on YouTube. I'm your friendly neighborhood amateur Batman historian. I post a lot about that kind of stuff. You can go ahead and follow me there. I also have a podcast, The Sidekick, spelled SEIDKICKS. Side is in dark side. You can listen to that on Spotify, iTunes, wherever you listen to podcasts. Rena?
You can find me on TikTok as Rock Are Free. No S, the S was taken. You can also find me every Saturday on the Ash and the Fantastic Friends live stream every week. We talk about comics and rarity pop culture topics. And then lastly, you can find me and Miranda live streaming every other Sunday on her TikTok channel.
And you can find me at Werewolf Teacher on Tumblr and Blue Sky for the most part. You can also find me on YouTube here. I'm going to start moving some of my content over to my YouTube channel. And in addition to the stuff that I post into the shorts on this channel.
All right. Bye.
Bye-bye now. Bye-bye.